Curtis, D.I. Wire.
D.I. Wires. I don't know if you heard the news, but LaRussell, I don't know why it's not loading up. Let's load it up right here. LaRussell just announced that he signed a deal with Roc Nation. First of all, congratulations for that as I load this window up. However, for many people, they didn't look at this, even though there's a lot of congratulations going around because people understand the businessman that he has been, how vocal he has been about being independent, and also how vocal he was about his reasons why he said no to Roc Nation in 2023 when he felt like the deal was just not the deal that he felt like he deserved for the business that he has built independently in the Bay. Well, a lot has changed since then, and he has continued to thrive and build his business. And he made this announcement on Breakfast Club, and it was met with mixed reviews. Like I said, some people supporting and some people who are like, oh man, LaRussell's selling out. Well, let's dive into it and actually see what that's all about.
So you thinking of signing with Roc Nation this time around?
You know, I'm officially signed to Roc Nation.
Hey, wow.
Let's go.
Now what changes? What does that mean?
It means I now have support beyond just my homies and somebody who truly believe in what I'm doing, who's already done what I've done to show me the path. You know, I've gotten to a point of so much success independently where I'm from that I lost my guides. You know, I surpassed a lot of people who did what I've done. So we've been doing this with no blueprint, no map, no route. Like I'm the first in my family to ever perform at Super Bowl and curate a house band. And you know.
Have you given thought to that for a second? And maybe some of you experience this, the higher you move up, maybe the corporate ladder, the higher you move up, and whatever your particular profession is. Have you experienced in life doing so many things that you've seen for the first time be done because it is your blueprint that you're creating, that you start to lose the amount of people, the value of people that can give you advice that is valuable to where you're going and what you're building, even though they themselves have never built it? I imagine the higher he ascends, right, still with the team that he built, and I've seen it up close, I've seen it firsthand, with the team that he has built and all the work that they have done, who can give them better advice on what they're doing independently than themselves? So I imagine as you continue to maneuver, partnerships have to be very, very strategic, and you probably want to get with somebody that has forgotten more than you know or what you've learned in the last X amount of years. It makes perfect sense to me, but we're going to talk about why it may not make sense to others.
All of this is a first, and Hove has been here and done it, so it just gives us a different level of infrastructure. And I'm still indie. I still own all my masters. I still spend my pay. I still do what I want, but now I have a support where, like, I
still own my masters. I still own my publishing. Why? I don't even know if you need to continue the video. Should that explain everything? No, it doesn't. Continue.
From the Bay is going to radio. I've never been able to get to radio. You know, it's just a different system. And as soon as we agree, like, man, let's work, they were instantly like, we believe in this record. We willing to take it to radio. I've had partnerships prior where they try to tell me it ain't worth it. Your song not worth going on radio until you get a TikTok moment or some viral chain. It's like, why we count on TikTok to believe in something that we all believe in personally, you know?
Well, okay, Vigo, you on strike too. He's probably bleeding thousands trying to keep shit running on his own. Are you rooting for him or against him? Because that doesn't sound like somebody who is respecting the business that he has built. Do you understand how stupid this sounds? He is sitting across the table from Jay-Z. And Jay-Z himself says, we've been trying to get a deal with you.
Again, I really salute you, like, because you for us represent that next wave of people who are going to like show people the way, and that shit is important for us.
Jay-Z says you represent the wave of people that are next going to show the way. I'm sorry, that kills your stupid ass argument about him bleeding money. Do you think Jay-Z, of all people, is about to say, let me come help you from bleeding all that money? Have you ever ran a business? You realize his losses and that don't. I was saving that clip, but perfect time to go ahead and give you that one. Sit down or shut up.
What was the energy when you was with Hov and Emery and all those guys?
You see, just you asking that made me smile. Like that shows you like the presence and the energy. And prior to us going, my homie Splash was like, man, you gonna meet Hov today, like how you feeling? And I was telling him like, man, I'm conflicted because I honestly don't know who I'm gonna meet because of the Diddy thing and just meeting so many other people. And
He talked about it a few months ago, but when he met Diddy was like excited about you can't put excited next to Diddy without like it striking some imagery. Diddy got excited. He was excited about meeting LaRussell. And he's like, baby boy, baby, it's baby boy. Oh man, like I love what you're doing. And he said as he met him, he started to pick up on an energy from Diddy that just was inconsistent and that he felt was very dark energy. He spoke about on another podcast. I don't think we covered that, but he's like, I don't know what I'm going to meet when I meet a Jay-Z. It's a fair point.
I was like, man, I'm nervous because I don't know who I'm going to meet. Am I going to meet like someone that I'm like, man, this is what I hope for? Like, damn, another one. Mm-hmm. And it was everything beyond. Like who social media and the internet make Hov out to be is so far from what it is. Just from my interpretation, I can only go off my gauge and who I sat with and who I spoke with. You know, even before I went, my mama was like, but what about all the YouTube videos? And
I bet you my mama would have said the same thing if I was going to sit down with Jay-Z. My mama would have been like, let me bring up this video of that pastor who reversed Jay-Z music off the Black Album and said, see, he said Lucifer, or something, we love you. I said, mama, that you know that got debunked, right? You know that got debunked, right? That got debunked. Yeah, I don't think that's real at all.
She was really worried and concerned. Yeah. You know, and I was telling her, like, man, one day I'm going to be successful to the point where all those same videos going to be about me, and you're going to be mad because you're going to have to fight for me for who you know who I am. And I told her, I said, I'm going to go make my own determination. I'm going to sit with him. And, man, like, he poured into us, and same vice versa. And he even told me, like, the fact that he would say, man, I'm glad you said something because I'm not above criticism. And if you didn't, I wouldn't have changed my own house and this wouldn't exist. That's a powerful statement to make as a nigga who up here.
Yeah. So if you didn't know, LaRussell was very vocal about his interaction the first time in 2023. The deal that that whoever was working at that time pushed across the table to him to read, he was like, this deal is predatory and it don't make any sense. And Jay-Z said, I'm thankful for you being vocal about it because it made me have to rearrange some things within my own household or my own business. You see how this conversation is less about LaRussell saying, oh, thank you, and more so it being a partnership? That's the part that I think people are not getting, is that they look at this and they say LaRussell gave up. It must have been too much work. Even the guy in here said he must be hemorrhaging money. It must be bleeding all this money. And that's why he's finally going to. Or maybe this black man did such great business that Jay-Z said it is imperative for us to sit down and be ahead of this independent push that we see about to happen, this independent trend that's about to happen. Maybe he saw some value in that? No? Okay.
Because he's high enough to be like, nigga, I don't care what you talking about. I ain't never got to see you again, you know?
Tune into the Breakfast Club now.
Boy, oh boy. Okay, let's continue it on. I already shared this clip. Jay-Z saying how valuable LaRussell is. But let's talk about the people who are... This is one example of it. And sometimes the first thing that comes to mind is it a bot? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that just bot nature on Twitter? Twitter is the worst. And I'm explaining to you why it's always been like this. So, our Ireland said, so LaRussell, I can already tell something about to be disrespectful when they spell the man's name wrong. They do the same thing with me. Let me get this straight about Curtis with one S. So LaRussell talked all that shit about labels and how they scam artists and even create an avenue for independent artists to actually make a coin for their music, talking about even just to sign to Rock Nation. One thing these niggas gonna do is sell theyself to the highest bidder. I really miss when fans only had conversations about the music. Somebody gonna have to tell the truth. Cause boy, oh boy, is this misinformed. Dare I say stupid. somebody who's actually had a deal, more than one deal, my dog, Triz, said, hey, it's a distribution deal, dummy. 90% of major indie artists have distro deals, hell, even me. Major indie artists have distro deals, hell, even me. Major indie artists have distro deals, even me. Do you understand that when music is serviced, that's a great word for it. When music is serviced on behalf of Rock Nation, those emails get opened up a bit quicker. Phone calls get picked up and returned a bit quicker when you have a certain entity involved with what you're doing, especially when it's places that you have not dedicated your business to, like traditional mediums like radio. He doesn't need radio, but he desires to add that to his resume. Well, in order to play that game, you must partner with somebody who has an understanding of that game. Rock Nation just gave you last year. I know they get a lot of criticism and maybe some of it is warranted, but Rock Nation, we were just giving so many props about the type of rollout that they gave the Clips after the Clips partnered with them. Do you understand the difference when you get a partnership? This ain't a 720 deal. This ain't a Tony Hawk deal. This ain't a 360 deal. Why would somebody who was already making $18,000, $11,000, $12,000 per album from people like Gary V, Kyrie Irving, why would he say, I give up? Jay-Z, let me just sign whatever you got for me after he already told them no in 2023. Do you realize that doesn't make any sense? It only makes sense to people who have never conducted business. Forget music business, just business in general. To get an even further understanding, I got some videos here that I think shed a great light on this. Shout out to my guy, the Django Degree. He's been having some really great videos covering LaRussell related content. And I wanted to highlight this one because he did a great breakdown to get you a better understanding. By the time you leave here, there's no way in hell you walk from this saying, oh man, LaRussell sold out. Hopefully you get an understanding of the business that you know nothing about. I'm not talking to y'all, I'm talking to them other percentages that be in here. Peep this out.
And all this LaRussell slander because he signed? Let's have a real conversation of what it means to sign a deal. Now, LaRussell was super open about what happened the first time he almost signed a deal. Some numbers got jumbled, people were kind of going back and forth, and the numbers didn't make sense for him. And you have that right. I think too many people misunderstand. When you come with a place of power, you can actually get the infrastructure you need because that's what these deals are for. Bro's been waking up doing everything on his own. When he was going on tours, when he does his stuff in the garage, when he's putting stuff on these different platforms, right? Side note, LaRussell has 2.2 million followers on just Instagram. 20-some thousand of us bought the album, okay? So I just want you to think about what percentage of us actually went out and said, you know what? We love that you're independent and we want to see you be big. I'm just going to reiterate a line. Cole said, if hip hop is back, JID will go platinum. Anything less than that, then y'all capping. Because we keep talking like we want independent, we want this, we want that. But then when it comes time for us to actually put our dollars where we say we want them, we keep not showing up. Now, here's the thing. He might have signed the deal regardless because now he has leverage. And that deal looks very different than a deal like John Bellion signed.
Let's talk about it. Leverage, leverage, leverage. Today's word of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is leverage. There's an amazing amount of leverage that you walk into this deal with, right? There's an amazing amount of leverage that you come in there with when you already show, hey, I'm making millions from my home. I don't need you because I already have a team that is taking care of my social media campaign. I already have direct communication with my audience. I'm even doing what feels like, I wouldn't say telethons, but I'm doing live streams where people are paying me as I'm performing from my garage. This is not about trying to get clout, because he can get that with 2.2 million people on his Instagram and all the other social medias. This is not about, oh, it's too much work, because he has a team. And it's a team full of people that are friends of his. This is the part of it that I think people have heard so many sob stories, so many terrible experiences that artists have that they think the only deals are those deals. When there are people like who you just mentioned right now, Master P, who was able to go into that deal, the first deal, and say, hell no, We making more money going out the trunk. What we need y'all for? What do we need y'all for? This is where you have to understand that you get the deal that you ask for, and the one that you've earned, and the one that you've put in the work for. Quick commercial break. DIYers, real quick reminder. If you enjoy these reactions and you want to go a little bit deeper, we got a private Patreon community waiting for you. On the Patreon, you get access to a private Discord, early videos, and full replays of the live streams that you won't see anywhere else. So if you support independent media and want to actually be a part of the process, hit the Patreon link down below in the description. Join the DIYers and let's keep this independent. #RR. We're going to continue this video, but great point. I just don't understand how people can judge someone else and their success without ever reaching half the success they've achieved prior to that next step. I do believe that there is a large amount of people who represent this. I also, call me conspiracy theorist, I also believe that there are entities from the traditional major label system that would not even hesitate to put bots out there to push narratives, especially if it benefits the old model. Because if he comes in here the same way that you're looking at Ryan Coogler getting very unique deals that his heroes didn't get, what you think the next person gonna ask for if they know it's possible? So I think that is also another possibility, is that they're trying to get ahead of these narratives. They're trying to disrupt the conversation, which is another reason why I was like, I think this is a better story to cover than J. Cole's album. This is more aligned with the DIY mantra of what we do. But don't be fooled. Some of them folks are gonna appear in this chat too. Well, I got snipers.
Right? When he talked about the deal that he signed, there was all this like, oh, where's the money going? They're putting stuff on the dinners. He's never going to get out the deal. When you sign a deal too early on, you basically put yourself in a hole that you're trying to climb out of. And if you weren't paying very close attention to the terms, you may never get out of.
Now, there's a chance, I'm glad he said that, there's a chance that if LaRussell would have signed that deal in 2023, that it would have been disruptive to the momentum that he has built on his own. There's a chance that he may not even be performing at this Super Bowl tailgate. There's a chance that the relationship and the expectations could have been so off because of the predatory numbers that he was presented with in 2023 that he just said, yeah, let's just do it because I just want the reach. That could have been more disruptive to what he's built on his own. But he went back and he built it on his own. And now he's able to return back to the table with the leverage that I've already walked away before. But this time I'm coming back with proof and receipts of what I am doing currently and where it's going to be next year. It's almost like watching Shark Tank. When them people walk away from the deals and they're like, I'm not finna give Mr. Wonderful all of them damn that equity. What am I giving you all of this for? I'm making money on my own. Hey, thought we had an opportunity to build something. It's okay. I'll go back to making money.
Probably never see the fine print, but I guarantee that there is more of a partnership in this deal than there is anything else.
And the fine print ain't nobody damn sense. It ain't nobody, my bad. It ain't nobody business except for the people conducting business. What you finna do? What you finna do? But take that contract and upload it to ChatGPT to understand some of the terminology. What you gonna do about it? It boggles my mind how many people are so finicky about the support they give. Do you want to see him win or not? And do you think he would put himself in a position where he would compromise everything that he's built so far? You take him to be one of them type of people? I don't. I interviewed him. I don't.
Because LaRussell's not an idiot. And I think that we should be proud of people for the choices they make. Like I said before, rather than us saying that someone sold out, we should start saying you have the right to evolve. Because we give that to the people who get married and get divorced. We do that for the people who leave a job that they said that they love. We do that for the people when they go buy a house after telling us that they would only ever rent. Like, we need to give people the space in their artistic world to be whatever they want to be in each moment. And if you love LaRussell and you're not just here capping, I think that you're enjoying that album and you're excited to see what comes next.
Come on.
I'm seeing all this LaRussell slander because he signed. Let's have a real conversation.
Yeah, that's outrageous. Also, too, Jay-Z is due many props. I don't care about none of them fucking files that y'all talk. I don't care about none of that shit that I know. Even if you are so against anything about Jay-Z, I know for a fact there is a strong power pushing against his brand, his legacy, and what he has built, especially being a black billionaire in that position. And not just being a black billionaire that sits around twiddling his fingers and hoping that he doesn't offend people, but the same black billionaire that said, I'm going to put Kendrick and let him do whatever show he wants. Do you know the last 5 Super Bowls have had black music headliners? This is the first time you see anybody that's not black at the Super Bowl halftime since J-Lo and Shakira. It's been 5. Jay-Z's also the same person that bought 10,000, if I'm not mistaken. Was it $10,000 worth of Nipsey Hussle's albums? He's always supported this independent space because he comes from this. Rockefeller, before it became a part of another entity, was independent. I just think that folks have already shown you. All right, shout out to Indie Mama. She has some things to say about this one too.
With Rock Nation, and now everybody's pissed and calling him a sellout, and I wanted to chime in. First of all, LaRussell played the independent playbook perfectly, right? He built his own community, his own ecosystem, and he showed the world that people would show up, would pay, and would stay. That's leverage, and leverage is the one thing that you need. This is the difference between the music industry eating you up and spitting you out, and you using it to your advantage. I think a lot of people are confused about independence. Independence is not anti-scale. It's not about struggling with integrity, whether to sign or not sign, right? This wasn't Russell abandoning independence. This was independence maturing for LaRussell. And he goes on to mentioning that he owns a master's, he has freedom, so it sounds like a distribution deal. But whatever the case, he's already showed who he was. He already has ownership of his data and of his people. And this means that he negotiated with leverage. The goal of being independent is not to stay small forever. The goal is to build so much leverage that partnership becomes your own choice. And we've all been witnessing this in real time, watching his journey through all of this. I'm sure him and his team are more than capable of making the right choice.
Come on.
And whether it's the right choice or not, like, why get angry that he signed a deal with Rock Nation? I don't understand that, you guys. It should make us curious, not angry or jealous. It should make us want to reverse engineer his playbook and see what we can learn and apply those things to our career. And guess what? If you ever built something like that and you had that same deal, I'm sure you would have signed too.
These motherfuckers are signed for a free copy of Sims. I don't want to hear that shit. These motherfuckers criticizing on what I would have did. Bitch, you would quit your job right now. You would quit your job right now if somebody handed you $10,000. That ain't gonna do shit for you in 6 months. Everybody's so special. Everybody's such a specialist about the money that they have never spent, never had, the contracts that have never been presented to them. Bitch, you will sell out for the cheapest price on earth. I promise you. You would delete your entire social media existence. Some of you would for $500. You slur you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. This shit is so disingenuous. That's why I believe some of that shit is bot activity. All the smartest people I know in this industry are saying the same thing about this deal, even though we still are getting more details about it, because they understand that this is what it. I just thought about that. Thank you, Courtney. I just thought about that. We in the same place where they got financial literacy, illiteracy, financial illiteracy, and just regular illiteracy. But you think you can read a contract that you ain't got in front of your eyes? Nigga, you couldn't read Dr. Seuss in front of your eyes. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Brian Z, you know, this is a very reliable voice that I come back to when we have these type of moments. He breaks this down in a very, very interesting thread on Twitter. He says LaRussell signing a 1-album partnership. So it's only for 1 album partnership with Roc Nation actually makes perfect sense. For some people, this move feels contradictory. He says it is not. Here's why, using LaRussell's own words from a conversation I had with him last fall. Here's why, he's basically saying. LaRussell said, I built everything myself, he told me by phone. For touring, I review all the data. I decide the city, the capacity, the venues. Being independent, people feel like I'm small, but I can go to every state and they know me.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I sold 50,000 tickets in 2 years. And you will still have people shape their lips to say, man, LaRussell's just he's so slept on. Yeah, he sold 50,000 tickets, but he's just so slept on. Excuse me? So then what are you? Barely living? I do this all out of pocket. I know there's a 10 times multiple if I had more capital. I don't have marketing dollars, so I have to give you product, music, and an experience. Every dollar I've made, I've had to reinvest. I never made money and felt like, yes, I'm there. Enter Roc Nation. By signing a one-off deal with Roc's distribution arm, they no longer offer traditional record deals. They don't even have the record deals that you think he sold out to have. I didn't even know that shit. They don't even have them in the building. The deal that you think LaRussell signed, that he sold out, they don't even got him in the building no more. Y'all so stupid. LaRussell believes he's given himself an opportunity to reach more eyeballs and ears. This is an inflection point that every independent artist will reach when you feel like you've done everything you possibly can without enough human or financial support. Some artists reach this point without building any leverage and end up signing awful long-term agreements. LaRussell, on the other hand, bootstrapped his career through a series of low-stakes distribution deals and was rewarded with terms that reflected the leverage he has built over time. He demonstrated proof of concept in the marketplace via physical sales and hard tickets. Physical sales and hard tickets. Physical sales and hard tickets. Something your favorite signed artist might never know nothing about. Because he got himself an indie jizob, jizob. If this new deal elevates his career and he recoups the money spent to get him to that point, then he will maintain the leverage necessary to renew under presumably even better terms. So if this deal goes according to plan and both partners walk away from this saying, no, this was lucrative, this was actually this is better than our expectations, he can now negotiate even better terms. Boy, and some of the good news is already coming in on day one. And if it doesn't work, he is free to leave with master ownership for long-term gain.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Dog, we just talked to Reason, right? And he talked about how he feels like he's having to kind of start from zero. He does have a name thanks to his tenure over at TDE, but he does not have ownership of his masters and the albums and his discography that he did there. It's still beneficial to anything he does because people are discovering that through the machine that is TDE, and they're able to go there, but he has to start this catalog now from zero. LaRussell's going to do a partnership deal, distribution deal, and will walk away with the album. Like, do you understand how rare this is? We're in the era of the Ryan Cooglers. This is, you know, the thing that bothers me? If you put LaRussell's face off of the deal and you put Gary V, you put Grant Cardone, most of us would be in here trying to study the motherfucker.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But you put somebody who raps, you put somebody indie, you put somebody black from the Bay Area, you put somebody black in general. I just feel like people look at that and just assume the worst. And not assume that maybe he has learned, he and his team, it's not just him making this decision. He and his team and his mentors that are around him, that consult him, that have not done wrong by him, said, you know what? If you can get this, I think that makes sense. If not, we already balling, baby. We good. We good. That's insane to me. I wanted to go to this clip because I guess he was sitting down and he was talking about more details with Shannon Sharpe about what's happening with the song that he has that is already getting service to radio. Damn, Rock Nation don't play.
Okay. You recently signed to Jay-Z's label. How has that been?
It's been incredible. You know, I went to sleep. I went to sleep one night and I didn't have no songs on the radio, and I woke up the next day on 50 radio stations.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Go ahead, LaRussell. He went to sleep under this deal with no radio play. Now his song is being serviced to over 50 radio stations. Now, we know that radio is not what it used to be, but it's still the most accessible to people who don't have streaming services. It's still being used all over the world and being accessed, because who knows if that's internet radio? Who knows if that's just terrestrial radio? Who knows? 50 radio stations, and we the thing is, they're just getting started. They're just getting started. If anything you've seen with Rock Nation, they don't play with their partnerships. Did you see what they did with the Clips? Are still doing? That rollout is still going. Even after the Grammy, that rollout is still going. Insane.
Damn.
But y'all know more.
Is that one of the reasons why it's so hard, and you need that machine, which is the record company, the label behind you to push? Because when you're independent, it's kind of hard to get that kind of airplay, because you need people from coast to coast.
It's also probably hard for him to get them damn Fortnite pants on. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe. Fire your stylist. Skip. I want the Fortnite pants. I just lay on the bed and I put them on. What the hell is that? What you fire him? It didn't did wrong by you for far too long. What the fuck is that?
To hear you like, man, I like old dude, man. He's nice like that. But when you're independent, it's just hard to get that.
They got a jean jacket and some leggings, looking like a baddie out here.
Yeah, the relationship is different. You know, when you're independent and you go to radio, that might be your first time. So it's their first time meeting you, their first time doing business, versus with a label, they've done business for 100 years,
right,
you know?
Right.
Like, they already connected and respected. So it's just a different grind. You know, and I'm still independent. We spend our own paper and we come up with all our own stuff. We put out our own music. We just got a partner now to help.
Come on.
I like that.
Not Afro Butterfly saying I might got a pair of those. Damn it. Afro Butterfly. Where'd you get yours from? I got mine from Shein.
Give me your Mount Rushmore Bay Area rappers.
I'm gonna stop it right there because I want to keep it focused on this. I want to share this with you because this hate train that we're seeing is far too familiar, and people seem to be like. Here's a tweet that I put up, and I want to see how many of y'all remember this. There was a point in time, not Rainbow. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna say DD's. What do you get? You got mine from DD's. When I tell people about the hate Nipsey Hussle got for his $100 Crenshaw mixtape that he released in the mid-2000s on his platform, they don't believe me. Mostly because of how he's revered now after his passing. You want to see the same pattern today, though? Look at the hate LaRussell was getting right now.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
Skip. I am not comparing LaRussell to Nipsey Hussle. For those of you that are thinking with 0.0003% of your brain, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I've seen this hate train before. This hate train always happens before Ascension. You got two sides of it that I'm noticing right now. One side that says, I knew he wasn't about any of that independent shit he was talking about. He sold out. Another side that says, well, damn, I did put my money and support you thinking that you were truly independent, and now you go partner and you're not the same kind of independent. And then you got some people that are like, if you happy and you able to take care of your family and you're not selling out your principles, you still get the deal. You got the deal that you wanted. Go get it. What are we talking about? But that happened. People were so disrespectful. And to show you, I wasn't the only one that remembered. This gentleman said, quote, who gonna buy $100 CD? I remember it like it was yesterday. I said, dog, the hate was loud for a West Coast indie artist like Nipsey having the audacity to ask for $100 for a mixtape. But the love was even louder. Now he is revered as a genius. That wasn't the moment. That was not how I was in the moment. I said, independent artists who make power moves always get hate. With LaRussell, spectators talking about deals they've never signed and fans afraid he's leaving them. Zero discussion of the leverage he built independently to make the Roc Nation partnership make sense on his terms. LaRussell retweeted that. He made a Roc Nation partnership make sense on his terms. He could have easily burnt the bridge by being vocal to his platform of like, yeah, they gave me a shitty deal. They gave me a deal that he could have burnt it. No. Jay-Z said, I got to do some in-house cleaning and get back to you. And then he got back to him. That don't feel like power to you? Okay. Someone else says, the people were saying, why would anyone buy that shit when I can get it for free? He think people really gonna buy this? Dog, they were all over the place. I said, on God, this is how they sounded. I'm gonna end this with let me actually put this quote here. All right, so this hasn't been confirmed, but there's a lot of speculation that Steph Curry just signed a deal with Nike. Why is that significant? How does this relate to LaRussell? Let me break it down for you if that's indeed true. In 2013, Nike botched a Steph Curry pitch. They botched it by spelling his name wrong on the presentation that they showed him to sign him. Being a little bit arrogant because they're Nike, they thought for sure he gonna sign with us. He ended up going with Under Armour for years. Well, he's a free agent for the first time this year. With that said, 2013, Nike botched Steph Curry's pitch. In 2023, LaRussell turned down Roc Nation because of a contract he felt like was almost insulting. Both of these gentlemen built something with the entities that they were associated with. Now in 2026, it's allegedly that Steph is close to signing a Nike deal for over $890 million for 10 years.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
Allegedly. LaRussell signed with Roc Nation, and he still keeps his mastering and his publishing intact. Do you understand how rare that is? I capped that off by saying leaving the wrong deal sets the price for the right one. Leaving the wrong deal sets the price for the right one. It's business. And sometimes you don't get a better deal until you know really what your value is, or when you have to show people, hey, this is what we're doing without you. Imagine if we had an actual legitimate partnership where both sides understood what we brought to the table. I imagine he's getting ready to set himself for an amazing 2026 and 2027. I said something, and I feel like it relates to this as well. I'm going to end on these thoughts here. Shout out my dog, CM McDuff. I share these thoughts that I feel like hate is the entry fee to get on the ride to the next level. What do I mean? Peep this out. This is the entry fee. You can't level up until you pay that price. I had a vision. When things got the hottest, I be having these mental conversations, I feel like, that are literally with God. And I say, are you sure I'm ready for this? Because the saying, like, he don't give you nothing that you can't handle. I was in Home Depot, of all places, random. I was like, God, you sure I'm ready for this? Like, I'm looking at my phone, the notifications going crazy. And it's like, oh, you shut the fuck up. I hate you, West Coast nigga. All of this shit is under me. I said, you sure I'm ready? And the vision of being at a theme park came to mind, and I feel like that was placed. God placed that in my mind of, you want to level up. This is the entry fee to get on the ride.
Yeah.
This is not just, this is like, I got to have haters. No. This is the entry fee. You can't level up until you pay that price. And that's exactly what's happening now. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. I knew, this happens for anybody who ascends too high. It's almost like some people want you to succeed, but they have a ceiling in their mind of how much they want you to succeed. And if you pass that, they've already made the decision they're going to stop supporting you. Because what they really wanted is for you to stay in that safe place that you were at one point in time. Oh, he's just someone trying to make it. I got a few dollars. I can help him. When he gets to a place where it looks like he's actually a very great businessman with a team now, and now now the rest of the world's going to know about him. Now he's not just the artist that I know about and put my friends on to. They're going to be telling me about him. It is a story old as underground rap itself. that folks hold on to and revere an artist until they get so big that they're not underground anymore. And for whatever reason, some fans feel like they're ruined, that the experience is ruined, the secret is ruined, and they start to detest the elevation of that human being. Now, they might have had a case years ago when these artists would go sign predatory deals that changed the texture of their music. It changed the things they talked about. It had them making these god-awful commercial songs that they'd have never made if they was independent. I get your issues with it. They just told him, make whatever you've been making because it's working. Matter of fact, we're going to put money and steam behind your songs and service it to 50 radio stations. Your favorite artist, if that is your favorite artist, is elevating. Your favorite commentator, your favorite businessman, whatever you go to a LaRussell for is elevating. And this is why I stress it so much, especially as a DIYer.
DIY.
This is the true DIYer story on the largest stage happening right before our eyes. Please don't allow your personal feelings about his music, your personal feelings about a Rock Nation. Don't let that make you jump ship. This is rare shit we're seeing right now. Matter of fact, check your own pockets as a DIYer if this makes you feel a certain way. That might not be critical thinking. It might not be fair criticism. It might be jealousy. DIYers, those are my thoughts. You let me know what you think.
DIY.
Tear in your eye.